Hello and welcome to happilyeducated.com. So, being pregnant has not brought out the best in me. Although I'm incredibly glad to be pregnant, I nevertheless find myself whining quite frequently about all the physical unpleasantness that pregnancy entails. And I know I'm being a wimp. I know that it could be a lot worse. But I'm not used to feeling less than perfectly healthy, and it's really not something that I want to get used to. But despite all my whining, pregnancy has taught me a few things. First off, I've learned a little bit about how my reproductive and digestive systems work, which, good thing to know, probably. I'm embarrassed to admit that before becoming pregnant, I really had no idea what either my uterus or my cervix were for. And, I'm sure I learned about this in some science class long ago, probably even multiple times. But until now, neither seemed particularly important. And just in case you've also forgotten, the uterus is where the baby spends its time during pregnancy. And the cervix is the bottom part of the uterus, which opens up when you go into labor to let the baby out. And as it turns out, the uterus expands quite dramatically during pregnancy to accommodate the growing fetus. So much so, in fact, that basically it leaves no room for your intestines. The baby gets so big that your intestines get squeezed out. And not literally squeezed out, but there's not room for them. So the result is indigestion. Your food has nowhere to go. And so I have also learned what heartburn feels like. And that has definitely not been my very favorite lesson of pregnancy. But, typically I take my health for granted. And being pregnant has helped me to reflect on how lucky I really am in this regard. Life is just harder when you're feeling yucky. So my heart goes out to anyone who suffers from health problems, especially chronic health problems. And I hope that I can remember what it feels like to be pregnant when I'm no longer pregnant, because I think this will help me be more empathetic toward others who are feeling yucky. At least with pregnancy, you're guaranteed that after 9 months, the yucky feelings will go away, but not everyone is as fortunate as that. So that's been something I've reflected on that, I just need to be a little more grateful for in the future. And pregnancy has reminded me of several other things that I'm grateful for, including easy access to effective, inexpensive birth control. If it weren't for birth control, I would probably have a whole brood of children right now, which certainly would have made it difficult to pursue my other interests in life. And yes, I could have just refrained from having sex for all these years, but I'm not confident that I would have had the self-restraint to do so, and I'm certainly glad that it wasn't necessary. I'm thankful also for easy access to information about pregnancy and childbirth. Over the past 39 weeks, I have experienced quite a range of weird physical sensations that would have totally freaked me out if I hadn't been able to quickly find out that they were normal. For example, when I started seeing stars a few months ago, I didn't need to call the midwife in a panic because a quick Google search revealed that, it's fairly common for pregnant women to occasionally see stars. And more recently, I've been having contractions that feel like my heart and lungs are being squeezed by my rib cage, which makes it a little hard to breathe and could be a very frightening thing. But again, Google assuaged my fears. I was able to quickly find out that other women experience the same thing without any negative consequences. But if I hadn't been able to get this information, I probably would have felt panicked and anxious and frightened, which might have actually led to something bad happening. So thank goodness for the internet. Thank goodness for library books. And thank goodness to all the people who share the information they have so that it's there for me. It's also tremendously heartwarming to reflect on how many people have helped us prepare for this baby's arrival. Our friends and family have, of course, been wonderfully, fantastically generous and supportive, but we've also gotten a lot of help from, distant acquaintances or even complete strangers. For example, when I posted on Facebook that I was pregnant and looking for hand-me-down baby stuff, I heard back from a guy I went to college with who I haven't seen in years, who put me in touch with a friend of his who lives here in Rochester, who gave us a whole mess of baby clothes and other equipment. And thanks to the generosity of others, just gifts and hand-me-downs that we've received, we've actually only spent about $250 of our own money on baby supplies, which was totally unexpected and very, very much appreciated and a huge relief. So, I look forward to eventually being able to pass on all of our baby stuff to some new set of parents to kind of help ease their transition to parenthood. Because boy, it could be expensive, but it hasn't been. It's been really great. Lastly, I appreciate that my mother carried me for 9 months. At worst, or at best, I should say, it was probably uncomfortable. At worst, it might have actually been, truly painful and miserable. And what's really remarkable and amazing is that she was willing to do it 2 more times to have my brothers, even though she knew from experience that being pregnant is no picnic. So, 9 months is a long time to share your body with someone else. And voluntarily doing that 3 times, I think is a true act of generosity. So, thanks, Mom. And if you have never thanked your mom for carrying you, you might consider doing so, because chances are that it wasn't particularly pleasant. And on that cheery note, I will leave you for now. I suspect it will be a while before I do any more blogging, because shortly I will have a newborn baby competing for my attention, and he will undoubtedly win that competition. So thank you for your patience. Happy holidays to you if you live in a place where it is holiday season. And happy learning. Bye-bye.